Hey, everybody. Welcome to What Drives Us, episode 252 for November 8th, 2017. I just killed my music completely. I like having a little bit of background music when I'm doing the intros. My mistake. That's me. I'm Russell Frost, your confused host for this week. Luckily for me, I have two good friends to help me navigate the world of advanced tech, transportation, and sustainable energy. Let me introduce you to them to you. Either way, let's introduce them and get this show on the road so I can stop stuttering. The man who's bundled up and warm because he just put on an extra coat because it's almost winter in Boulder, Colorado, Mr. Paul Guzik.
Hey, everybody. Glad to be back. And yeah, it's a little chilly this evening, but earlier today it was pleasant. But once the sun goes down, it gets chilly.
Yeah. You had snow yet?
We had a touch of snow yesterday.
Oh, man, I'm so glad I missed that.
And then it melted today.
And it melted. Well, speaking of someone who will probably be swathed in snow soon and it won't melt, our man in Canada, Mr.
In the Great White North.
The Great White North, exactly. Actually, we're going to be getting some snow tomorrow. There's a storm coming in over the Great Lakes, and we're going to get battered about 6 p.m. So,
how does the song go? The November gale was blowing, or
the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald? Yes.
You had to go with the Gordon Lightfoot. Wow.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Welcome to the show, everybody.
Who knows? Well, it's so weird because this is like, here I am.
The gales of November came early. That's how it goes.
The gale of November came early. Well, we'll work on that for the next week's show, maybe. Because it's 64 degrees here right now. I'm sitting.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah, I got the windows open, and it's awful. Let me tell you,
terrible weather.
Please send your donations too. It's hell to be in San Diego in November.
Or next week, we're all doing the show from San Diego.
Oh, that's so great. You can just go outside, you know. So first, let's just get it going here. Let me jump right into it. I don't really have a rant this week. This isn't a rant, but this is definitely a very interesting article, story that's been developing for a little while now. There is a company in Kobe called, oddly enough, Kobe Steel. Kobe Steel makes metal powder, steel, all different kinds of metal for all different kinds of industries. And let me just read off some of their customers: Toyota, Nissan, Honda, Mazda, Subaru, Mitsubishi, Daihatsu, Honda Aerospace, the Honda Jet, Boeing, Mitsubishi Aerospace, railways, utilities, all kinds of things. They make the aluminum for Blu-ray discs for Panasonic. They make cooling equipment for Toshiba. This is an enormous company that supplies other enormous companies. Turns out that, and we're talking 525 total customers, okay? Volkswagen isn't the only company that maybe pushes some products out and didn't quite tell the truth about them. Of course, we've had the executives
lied about the specifications a little bit.
Yeah, they basically been cheating on the specs. Somebody thought they were getting this type of grade of steel or aluminum, and turns out that they were getting just a slightly not quite as nice grade. And of course, Kobe Steel made additional money, made more money than they should have on this. And what's more disturbing, obviously, is the companies that use their products were using products that weren't to the specs that they had engineered for, that they had designed for.
So you're saying like there could be a crumple zone in a car made of steel that's not going to crumple, or it's going to crumple more than it's supposed to?
Yeah, and I'm not a big this is a selling panic kind of thing. So far, there's been no evidence that any of the metal that they've sold has actually materially affected the devices that the metal was used in.
That'd be great if you're flying in a Boeing jet right now listening to this.
Yeah, how'd you like that? Enjoy our podcast. Those wings are going to be coming off at any moment, folks. I mean, obviously, right. If your crumple zone doesn't work, who knows? There's all kinds of, rail problems, air problems, obviously with planes, even down to again, they make the metal for Panasonic's Blu-rays discs, so your Blu-rays don't last as long. Maybe they just start deteriorating or something. Who knows? Maybe they oxidize. There's all kinds of things, but none of this stuff has turned up so far. But it's still there, and this is a huge instance of a company.
I wonder if it's a real story or someone's just trying to manipulate the stock price.
No, Kobe definitely was not sending to customers what they were ordering.
Okay.
That has been without a doubt. Now, is there some other ulterior motive? I mean, how can we know?
Right.
I mean, how
big corporations are evil.
Well, I mean, arguably, yeah, when you don't have accountability, you know what I mean? And again, this one company affects 525 other companies, most of which aren't small either. We're talking about products that are owned by probably billions of people.
Again, why do these companies think that no one is ever going to question them? Like, you have that many clients, that many.
Yeah, no one's ever going to double check the quality.
Like, there's got to, doesn't that sound exactly like what VW did for how many years?
I don't know.
It's shocking that they just thought that they could just continue to do it and get away with it.
And Kobe Steel's done this for more than a decade. They've confirmed this, okay? For more than a decade, they've been, not everything they send out, but apparently enough. I don't know. I don't know. It's horrifying, of course. And thank God that this wasn't an issue of wings falling off of planes and wheels falling off of cars and crumple zones failing and all kinds of things. Who knows? Medical equipment. You know what I mean? Like, who knows?
Yeah, the scalpel breaks in half.
Or a ventilator stops working because a little piece. I mean, sometimes it's little tiny things too. This is the age that we live in, where one company, the acts of one company ripple out through the marketplace and can affect a large number of people.
Well, let's hope it doesn't hurt anybody.
Yeah, definitely.
But you're right. It is the age we're in. There's many different groups that is it the quality control on their end, or is it someone just being manipulative and saying we're going to make some more money on this? Like, you would hope it was an oversight, but man, if it happens over and over again with different clients, and it's the greed factor is all I can say it is.
You would have to think, right? And obviously these clients aren't doing rigorous sampling of the product, because this is probably what falls under the rubric of a trusted supplier, right?
Yeah.
And then, so much for that trust. I mean, it's kind of like the Takata airbag thing, right? I mean, everybody bought bags from them and it was all good. And then it was like, holy shit, no, it's all bad.
Yeah, it's all bad in a big way.
But you don't... To get products at the price that we want them, at the price that consumers are used to paying for them, these economies of scale happen, where you have one company that makes airbags for everybody. You have one company that makes metal products and supplies hundreds of other companies. They don't do their own metallurgy. They don't make their own airbags because that would raise the cost and arguably may not even improve the quality, right?
Yeah.
Maybe. But it would reduce the problems when you have these sort of like epidemic things that take place. It's an interesting issue. But Mark, why don't we talk about something more fun?
Yeah, let's jump into the brave new world of autonomous vehicles.
Oh, shoot.
Made from Kobe steel.
Oh, my God.
Hopefully not. Hopefully not coupling many different issues. But our friends over at Google, who renamed their autonomous division Waymo, I don't know why, have released a news brief that we're going to show you here.
Oh,
Just going to press the play button here.
we're gonna watch video.
We're going to watch a video.
Ooh.
And what they're telling us here is they're about to introduce
No.
a autonomous vehicle on the roads in Phoenix.
Jesus God. In Phoenix.
In
Wow.
Phoenix. They've been testing the vehicle in Phoenix now for a number of months. And they are now going to be allowing the public to hail rides.
Wow.
And they are saying that there may be an operator in the vehicle, but he might be sitting in the back seat, not beside the steering wheel.
What good would that? Why bother? Was he going to hug me after we crash?
If he can't grab the wheel, why is he even there?
Yeah.
But they are going to be trying this out on the streets of Phoenix and saying that the public will be able to use an application to pull up, to select a vehicle, to ask to come pick them up, and it will drive them to
Basically
their
like
destination.
Yeah. And what's the vehicle platform they're using? Does it
This
say?
is a Pacifica hybrid.
Oh,
So it's a partial electric vehicle. As we mentioned, not a great amount of EV range, but you get a good. I think it's 35 miles, something like that. 30 miles, 35.
I was claiming 38, but
Okay.
yeah, I don't know. I'm frankly, I'm shocked they got these vehicles. Where I thought Chrysler stopped making them 6 months ago.
No, they had a recall, but there was they let them go. They let them go to Waymo. So
That's what it was, huh? Wow.
Wow, and
we'll just stop it
and
there.
Phoenix is like saying this is all cool. You can go to town without a driver.
Phoenix is saying, I guess, that
Wow.
it is going to be allowing them to do that. There's not going to be a problem because they have
Until
been
it hits the motorcycle.
they
guy.
have been running in the city to this point.
Right.
So I don't think that it's going to be a problem at all. Well, who knows? Who knows if it will be a problem? But they're planning on not allowing. Well, they've got this test that's running. It has been running for months, and now they're going to roll it out to the public.
And this is Google directly doing the ride share. They're not using Uber or Lyft or anybody.
No, this is Google themselves. So
Wow.
this is Waymo, the actual company. You remember the egg-shaped kind of
Yeah.
VW bug-looking vehicles that were around?
Yeah.
Those are no longer around in this test, but of course that technology moved into the Pacificas, and they're going to now try it with people. But my question to the two panelists on this show is, would you get in one of these vehicles and not have a problem that there's no driver and no one to grab the wheel at this early stage?
You want to go first, Paul, or you want me to?
Yeah, I mean, I've ridden in some of the almost autonomous Teslas, and the technology is pretty good. I mean, I guess I would feel more comfortable if there's a big red emergency stop button that I could punch if, I had to. But, I don't think they'd be putting human beings in it if they weren't confident that it's pretty darn solid.
After we
And I
just
mean,
talked
they're gonna
about the
fix-
steel story,
Well,
you
but-
were
but-
confident that a big corporation
Well,
would not have any
but
issue.
it's in Phoenix, so there's little chance of rain or snow to disrupt the visibility. I'm sure they don't push the limits, but I guess I'd have to see. But I'd try it. I'm into technology, so
Yeah. So my answer is my first inclination is like hell no, because I'm not anybody's guinea pig. But of course, that's not really who I am as a person, or as a person who hosts this show, who would be like, hell yeah, I want to get in there and take the thing apart while we're driving to see what's going on. That said, I'm really dubious about this. I mean, I think Mark brought up the important point, which is, I suspect this is in Phoenix for a lot of reasons, and I suspect that the drives are probably highly geofenced, because there's still a lot of things that these self-driving cars can't necessarily deal with. You know, whether it's cones or a flag person or steel plates on the road, and I suspect that those routes are probably very carefully curated during this test period.
Yeah, they probably only drive on roads that have freshly painted, road markings.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's the way you should run a test like this, right? I mean, of course, you've got to test for the other things, but not with actual, like, suckers. I mean, humans. Getting in the thing. That's when you put sandbags in the back and a safety guy with a...
I wonder if you sign up to use it, do you have to, like, sign a waiver that if you get injured, you can't sue Google?
There's nothing you can do, yes.
Because if you got hurt, I mean, lawyers would be all over Google.
Oh, my gosh, would they ever?
Yeah.
And you can't get in and say, I'd like to go to New York City. Let's go.
Right.
Right. Deep pockets mean anything to you? Well, I mean, cheers to them. It's a very interesting.
Someone's got to be first.
Yeah.
And as a side story, I don't know if you two had seen this, but Bob Lutz happened to send a note out recently to the papers, and we all love Maximum Bob.
Yeah.
But he was quite down on autonomous for the fact that he believes it's signaling the end of the good times in the automotive industry. Yeah. He believes in his little note that there's going to be a number of fleets that will start putting autonomous vehicles on the road, and it's only going to take a small amount of them to get approval, and the regulators will then allow it to happen in larger and more cities and more states, more areas. And he feels that it's going to be a very quick slope to the point where only autonomous vehicles will be allowed to drive, say, on freeways, because they will determine that 99.9% of the crashes will be caused by humans, not the autonomous vehicles. And his thought is that eventually this will go quite quickly in favor of the autonomous and the safety that they bring, and people's freedom to drive wherever they want will slowly disappear.
I can't see that happening in the next 10 or 20 years, maybe eventually, but it's going to be hard to get people to give up their cars.
You're right. Those people are going to have to die off. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah, it's number one, why is anybody publishing what Bob Lutz said? And I respect the guy was in the auto industry for like half a century. Okay, so
he's seen a lot come and go.
But that said, this is the man who thought that a 12-cylinder Cadillac was the savior for GM. Now, and he initially hated the Volt, and then to his
yeah. Now, Russell has froze on us. We're not sure if
wake up, Russell.
He's coming back. Trust me, we've seen this before. He just should be right about now.
Oh.
It's so weird because I don't know.
Comcast.
You're back.
Hey, I'm back.
Yeah. So you were mentioning about the Volt with Bob Lutz.
Bob hacked into your network.
Bob's amazing. No, I mean, number one, like, really enough. The guy's wrong most of the time. He's been right a few times. Good for him. But I don't see where like he's some sort of font of wisdom. He's been in the business a long time, and people love him, I think, because he's a blowhard. I mean, he's going to say something that's, like this, like in 20 years there'll be no more cars. Like, I don't know, maybe.
But we can't see that happening, right? Like all of us can see that over time, the autonomous will start to rule.
Yeah, and there might be, like on a multi-lane interstate, there might be dedicated, autonomous lanes and then manual lanes, and it's going to take a long time for the. Yeah,
I it's way too early.
Yeah.
Unless you live in Phoenix. So it'd be interesting if any of our viewers are from the Phoenix area, if they would have the ability to try this out.
drive
we
around.
would let us know if you have that capability. We'd love to see some video of an actual test drive with one of our listeners.
Yeah, I would love that. We would all love that. Let us know. Hey, maybe we'll have you on the show. Take some video if you can. That would be fantastic. Thanks for that, Mark.
You're welcome.
I didn't really get all my Bob Lutz insults out, but that's okay. That's okay. I mean, this whole story is kind of, like Pacifica vans that no one can buy, apparently, but Google.
Google bought them all. That's why they're in short supply.
Yeah, that could be. Well, the thing I wanted to talk about here was a young man named Akio Toyoda. And if you don't know who Akio Toyoda is, he is the grandson of the founders of the Toyota Motor Corporation. And there was a good article in Automotive News this past week about Toyota and Toyota the person. Excuse me. It's hard to tell. Am I saying Toyota with a D or Toyota with a T? Can't really tell. But it somewhat kind of glamorizes Toyota as this sort of singular figure that struggled his way up through the ranks. His last name was Toyota. He worked his way up, yes, but
yes,
his last name was Toyota. Let's just say his destiny was assured.
He took the express elevator up.
And I don't want to take anything away from him. He's probably a great guy, and he's done some good things there. The interesting thing, the reason I wanted to bring this up was one of the things he's worried about is that, and something that we've talked about on the show a lot, is Toyota and any big car company. These are big corporate juggernauts, and it's difficult for them to change course, to steer in a different direction because they're so big, because there's so much just engineering inertia. I mean, it takes the legend is it takes 5 years to bring a car to market. In a time we live in where most consumer products are now on a 6-month to 12-month refresh cycle. Cars still take 5 years to get it together and get it out. And as we know, even then, sometimes the first year they're out, it's a little sketchy. Cars are difficult things to build. And Akio Toyoda is trying to help the Toyota Motor Corporation produce these things in a different manner. He's trying to break down some of the bureaucracy. According to this article, one of the ways he's doing it is splitting the Toyota Motor Corporation into smaller units that are, again, according to the article, empowered to act as a self-contained unit. For instance, quote, small cars are handled by, in capital letters, the Compact Car Company. Which is really almost as bad as the Boring Company. Commercial vehicles by the CV Company, connectivity by the Connected Company, and so on. The idea is that each of these separate small companies that were once a division now have the authority to act on their own and hopefully respond more nimbly, more quickly to what's going on in the market, what's going on in the world. And
didn't they try that with Scion and kind of didn't work?
Well, I don't know. That's a good question, Paul. I mean, I don't know that was the same thing. This isn't really like launching a different brand. This is saying we're going to take these different parts of Toyota and we're going to let them sort of make some more of their own decisions.
Yeah, the question would be, was Scion really on their own, or were they just directed as a brand?
Right. Any more than Lexus is. I mean, let's be realistic. It's a Toyota product, and I think you see that. It's interesting. I don't know if it'll work. I give Akio Toyoda credit for trying something new. I mean, obviously, he wants Toyota to stay relevant. Into the coming decades, when we're going to possibly see the exit of internal combustion cars, and we may see autonomous driving coming up, to the forefront. And how will that change the way people use and buy cars? If there's autonomous cars all over the place, why would you buy a car? when you could hail one from your phone.
Yep, that's going to be the question,
right?
as they become autonomous.
Yeah, definitely in urban areas when that stuff is real, a lot of people won't even buy a car.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously lots of people in urban areas don't already, because of mass transit and
car sharing and Uber
and car sharing and bike sharing and all of that stuff. Yeah, why buy a car? Back in the primitive 90s, I didn't have my own four-wheel motor vehicle for quite a number of years because it cost me more to park it. And it was more of a hassle. If I wanted to go somewhere on the weekends, I rented a car. Otherwise, I took the Muni to work. So, I mean, I think this is good. It'll be interesting to see the way it plays out. The final little note here is apparently way back in the day, when Toyota was a struggling, up and coming Toyota Motor Company employee, he had this idea of doing something that was totally radical, and Toyota Motor Company said, no, we want no part of that. So he started this thing called Gazoo, which is a play on the Japanese word for picture. And the idea was that it was a image-based way to shop for cars on the internet. And apparently it's huge. It's the website Gazoo it says Japan's biggest online automotive mall. And Toyota poo-pooed the idea. The Toyota Motor Company did. And here's Akio like going, fuck it, I'm going to do it. And, that was interesting. That's all I got. Who would have thought? Hey, he invented Craigslist.
For cars, yeah.
Cars, not quite. Paul, let's go from Akio Toyota's heaven in Japan to another place, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, so rumor is on the street that the Model 3 hell is destroying Tesla's other projects. So, article in the Chicago Tribune. Too bad Tony's not here to talk about it. He might have read it on paper. But they're basically saying there will be no $35,000 Teslas in 2017, period. They're only going to trickle out a few of the very expensive ones, and maybe late next year there might be some cheap ones. But, when this story broke last week, Tesla stock went down. It's actually recovered fairly well since then. I don't know, people keep betting on Tesla, but they got some problems to work through to ramp up their production, and they're trying to do all kinds of things. The Tesla Semi, this thing called the Tesla Network, where you can basically car share your car when you're not using it. Their autopilot stuff that sort of sometimes works. Maybe they'll try it in Phoenix. But yeah, I don't know. I think maybe Elon's got too many, what do you call them? Ovens in the pan, or
irons in the fire?
Irons in the fire. There you go. That's what I meant.
I like that, though.
Yeah.
On the Tesla Life, we watched a video that Tesla released of the Model 3 production line, and you can't necessarily judge from this. And I said that on the show, but man, those robots were moving in slow-mo, dude.
Glacial.
Like, slow-mo. We have reports from people that have been in the factory and said, there's parts laying on the ground. We've seen news stories that said that one of the big problems is that Tesla, where they haven't been able to cancel or modify these parts orders, is warehousing enormous numbers of parts, which is a waste of money, obviously a waste of space. They've got to build places to warehouse them because they're not building the cars as fast as they anticipated they would. Tesla's in a world of hurt.
Yeah.
It's not just me then.
No, they're struggling. They've got many. They're juggling many balls, and they're dropping some.
Yeah,
and it's just it is something that they've experienced in the past, and we're hoping that they can get over it and move on. But man, it's difficult, as Elon said, to be in production hell.
Yeah. Well, and they promised the moon, you know,
Yeah.
and set really
Their-
intense
their-
goals.
Their goals were based on best case scenario for sure.
Right.
Yeah, and it definitely is not.
With no room for error.
Nope. No room for any major errors at all.
And I don't know that they're going through major errors. I think what they're going through is it seems like what every other car company does, which is why it takes so damn long to bring a car to market.
Yeah.
It's not easy, especially when you want to completely automate the line like Tesla does with the Model 3, and you're trying to do it for reasons of economy.
Yeah. Which means that if you don't get the volume there, you'll never get those economy savings.
Right.
And meanwhile, every other auto company is jumping on the EV bandwagon and will have a competing product in the next couple of years.
Well, I mean, there's certainly that. And you know, the other thing, again, goes back to the Tesla Life show that Mark and I just did a little while ago. This autopilot thing has got to be burning up some of their customers. I mean, customers who bought new Model S and X vehicles with Autopilot 2.0 hardware that they were told would enable them to be fully self-driving, and it ain't happening.
Right.
It ain't happening.
Yeah.
And that's, I mean, perilously close to fraud to say you're going to get this and you're paying for these features, but we're just going to activate them as soon as we can. And as soon as we can isn't that soon.
It's not that quick.
Yeah. And honestly, is there anybody here that thinks Tesla's going to have a fully self-driving car in the next 5 years?
Nobody's raising their hand.
5 years. 5 years. No?
Fully?
Yeah.
Fully. Those are Tesla's words. Full self-driving.
I wouldn't take that bet.
Yeah. I wouldn't either.
I think they're having too many. Again, I think that Tesla has always discussed their goals in a completely flawless world. This is how it's going to happen. If everything works out fine, this is where we'll be, and that's how they do everything. That is Elon Musk. That is how he portrays things.
I think that's dangerous. I don't. Yeah. Okay. I won't beat that up too much.
I do like the completely unrelated article. If you scroll down on the Chicago Tribune site, it says if you'd bought $100 of Bitcoin in 2010, it would be worth $75 million today. So then you could buy a lot of Teslas.
We can only get that time machine working.
Yeah.
What?
That's Elon's next thing is the time
The
machine.
time machine, yes.
I don't. Yeah. Bitcoin. Okay. Okay. Hey, Mark.
Another story. Which
Got another story?
Russell will like, I'm sure. There's a new motorcycle that's being introduced in Asia.
I'll run some video for you. How's that?
That'd be great. From the Evoque company, Evoque, EVOKE. They've unveiled a new urban classic electric motorbike built by, guess who? Foxconn, the maker of the iPhone, or the manufacturer of the iPhone, I guess.
The manufacturer, yes.
Yes. And in fact, Evoque is of such interest in this endeavor that they are actually even picking up and moving their head office to right beside Foxconn. In some cases, offices within Foxconn.
Within Foxconn, yeah.
So they have gone to one of the world's largest manufacturers and proven manufacturers of volume products in order to make this bike a reality and manufacture it to economies of scale. The article goes on.
It does say it has a seat, which is hand-stitched Tibetan leather, not Corinthian leather.
Well, Carl Maltabon was not available for the commercial for whatever reason. But it's interesting that this electric motorcycle, for some of the specs, it will do 0 to 60 miles an hour in 6.0 seconds. It's pretty quick. Not bad. Not bad. It's got a 7.8 kilowatt battery that will charge from completely dead in about 4 hours with an onboard integrated charger. And the battery life, they indicate, is about 125,000 miles for the complete battery life. Doesn't say anything about degradation.
Like 124-mile range on a charge.
124-mile range.
In the city.
That's in the city. On the highway, you're looking at more than 74 miles.
So for some people, that could be a week of commuting on a charge.
That's
Absolutely, yeah. So the only thing the article does not get into is the price.
Yeah.
No price. How about that? No price whatsoever. But if you happen to be in, I don't know where, Milan Rio Fairgrounds, there'll be
like Milan, Italy, I guess, right?
They'll be at Pavilion 11 at booth T26 on the 12th, from the 9th to the 12th of November.
Wow. Tomorrow.
Yeah. So if you are in Milan, feel free to drop by and ask them how much it is.
Yeah.
So obviously I've got.
Why does it have a gas tank?
I don't. Okay.
That's
Thank you, Paul. So let me pick this apart for just a second, because I'm the motorcycle geek and I get all sweaty. Number one, the video. What's a voltaic motor? Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. Yeah, it's a voltaic motor. It has a classic leather seat, apparently made of Tibetan leather,
hand stitched
Tibetan leather. That's important. It's fully electric as opposed to the partially electric motorcycles.
Which is how many?
Yeah.
Not many of those out there. Hybrid motorcycles.
Why you put a gas tank on this thing is beyond me. I mean, if you filled it with batteries, why would you shape it like a gas tank? Why not make it the shape of the batteries?
Unless that's your helmet storage unit.
No,
that is a helmet. That's what it is.
A gas tank.
It's like the helmet from Spaceballs. Yes.
Oh. I don't like. That's one of the things about some of these bikes that I don't like. They design.
Well, do you not think that maybe their design is like this because they just want it to look ordinary?
I don't know why do I want it to look ordinary?
Yeah,
because
you're riding an electric bike, you want to say, "Look at me, I'm driving an electric bike."
You want to blend in. You don't want to look like you're something different.
What I want is something that works as best as it can, and if it means not putting a big tank-like structure way high up to raise my center of gravity, then
they wouldn't put batteries up there because it would mess up the center of gravity.
Yeah, it would be stupid. But what the hell? So it's full of air. It's storage. You know what I mean? It's dumb. There's no when you have a gas tank there. That makes good sense.
Does it? Because isn't a gas tank a bad center of gravity being that
it
high?
is, but you got to have fuel high to
feed the carburetors.
Because it gravity feeds, and it's not that damn heavy, and you know what I mean. Like it's not like batteries, and. Again, it's they're not going to put fuel pumps in these bad boys, and really in a motorcycle you wouldn't necessarily want a tank on the ground anyway.
Right.
I mean,
and like gas is so light compared to, I think, like the equivalent energy in batteries of a gallon of gas is 250 pounds of batteries.
Yeah,
a gallon of gas weighs 5 pounds, not even. So.
I would. You know what? I don't know, but
it's not a lot.
That heavy. Yeah, I mean. Yeah, I've ridden a few, all bikes have the tanks up there, and it's not that bad after you fill up with gas.
Right.
But I guess that's all I would say. The only thing here, the range isn't super impressive. The design isn't cutting edge. And the hook is, I guess, because Foxconn's making it. So I don't really know. Like, I know Foxconn makes iPhones, and they make a lot of electronics stuff, but what does Foxconn know about metallurgy?
Well, you see, that's the thing is you don't necessarily need to know Like it's the entry for electric vehicles is lower than it is for gasoline powered vehicles.
Right.
You don't have to have the motor. You don't have to have the valves, the everything. All you need to do is have an electronic box, a battery, and some sort of a motor.
Mm-hmm.
So the
and the barrier for motorcycles even less than a car because
that's right.
No
crash. No crash requirements. So it's
well, they're going to crash. So
well, it's low hanging fruit for anyone to get involved. Yeah. And Foxconn, being someone that produces mass amounts of electronics and assembles them for many different companies, sounds like a perfect match for this.
Mm-hmm.
And the bell time is over.
And that's it. Our discussion time on the Evoke Urban Classic is done. Let's go to our final story of the week. And I think that's me.
It is.
And here I am, not quite ready. What a surprise. Let's I want to talk about what I'm going to affectionately refer to as a big ass fan. It is in fact not a fan. It is in fact the world's largest wind turbine. And the reason I thought it was cool. There's a fun video in here about them transporting the blades of this turbine. How
do they go around the corners?
Well,
you're going to find out.
You just watch and see. Look at the size of those damn things.
Wow.
Yeah.
74.5 meters long.
Thank you.
So what's that in American?
Sorry, 73.5.
200 and, I don't know, 10 feet? It's 2 point something? No.
241 feet.
241 feet. Thank you.
That's pretty big.
So here's a guy in a truck. Oh,
so is it like a fireman truck where they have a guy in the back driving too?
There's the one truck, and then there's a trailer.
The trailer's the fan itself. Yeah, the blade.
Look at this. I mean, obviously he has a big security escort, but this thing is enormous.
Wow.
And the back part of it is on its own oscillation, so it can turn with the vehicle.
Right.
That's amazing.
That's really cool, but I mean, that's going to limit where they can build these because they got to get them to the site.
Well, apparently they're getting them to a port. That's where they're all going, to a port to be loaded on a ship or barge,
right,
and then shipped to other countries via the ship.
Huh. But I mean, if you want to put a wind turbine up on the mountainside, what are you going to do? Drop it in with a helicopter or something? I mean,
I don't know if a helicopter can do all this, but you're right. There are limitations based on its size.
Right, and it's obviously not the kind of thing that you can build on site.
No,
you need some kind of technology to put these things together, and it's probably not super portable. But I mean, this is these are the.
Notice what they do to the roundabouts. They have to cut right through them. There's no way. There's no way it's going to make it around a roundabout.
A special road in the roundabout. That's fantastic. Wow, look at all the roundabouts, though. Gotta love that, Spain.
Wow.
It's crazy, and it's cool, and that's a 240-foot long propeller.
Wow.
And just imagine
each turbine has like 3 of them, right?
There's 3 of them. So the height of it has got to be what? You got to be double plus a little bit more. So you're talking 500 feet tall?
Yeah. Going to Germany. Those darn Germans. Wow. How fun is that?
Very cool.
Yeah, I mean, we're all about the fun, sustainable energy stuff, and I just thought that was cool. That's all. I don't have anything else to say about it other than that.
You just want to say big ass fan.
I just want to say big ass fan. You're right. This is L&M Wind Power. They're in Spain again. This happened on October 20th of this year. Wow. So good for them. And if you want one, I'm sure you can order one.
I'm sure you can order one. Yeah, it just show up. Yeah.
lmwindpower.com. Head out over there and place your order.
Yeah, and just go down to your local seaport and pick up your blades.
Absolutely. Yeah, take the Tundra. No big deal. The extra long bed, you're good.
extra long bed.
Well, this is where I check in with Mark to see if he has one extra thing.
I'm sorry to disappoint. I've got no extra things today.
You never disappoint, Mark. Please try. Well, then let's do some shout-outs and go home, gentlemen. What the heck? I think we've earned it. Paul, would you like to start us?
Sure. I will shout myself. Boulder Hybrids, our website is boulderhc.com, and we fix and repair hybrid and EV vehicles all along the Rocky Mountain Front Range area.
Yay.
Check us out.
BoulderHC.com. If you're anywhere near Boulder, Colorado, you want Paul to work on your vehicle. I guarantee that. And Mark.
If you happen to be in the KW area, which Russell knows what that stands for.
That Kitchener-Waterloo region.
November 21st, we're having a meeting of the Waterloo Region EV Association. And we've got a special guest coming in and presenting about charger sharing. So this company is called Switch minus the I. Switch minus the I is available, switch.com. And they're going to be telling us about their crowdsourcing EV charger system that they have in place. Everyone take a look if you'd like, and if you happen to be in the area, come on in, and they will be presenting to our group on the 21st at 7 p.m. So let us know if you'd like to join in.
Awesome. Well, thank you. As always, I want to thank Michael Mannering for our theme music. Visit him at manthing.com. I want to, shout out to Lee Moon for the Tesla Life. I forgot Lee. I'm sorry. Shout out to Lee. Visit us at whatdrives.us. You can also, and what we would love it if you did was go to youtube.com/whatdrivesus. Visit us there. Hit the subscribe button, please, so that you're automatically notified when we post new content, whether it's our weekly shows or our reviews. You won't get spammed.
And you get a ding when the show goes live, too. You forget, too.
Similar to the ding that you heard earlier in the show.
Oh, I want a ding. Wait, I do subscribe. Hold on. I'm missing on my ding.
But you might forget. You might be doing something on a Wednesday night and go, oh, yeah, I can tune in the show.
I can tune in live right now.
And even if you don't tune in live, at least you get a reminder that there's a new show. You can go listen to it later in the night or later tomorrow, whatever.
There you go.
youtube.com/whatdrivesus. Of course, on Twitter, oddly enough, we are at What Drives Us, and we would love it if you followed us there. And of course, Facebook, the evil social media empire. We are at facebook.com/whatdrivesus. Go there, check out our news. Patrick Connor is nice enough to post a lot of exciting news. There's some discussion. We even pick articles from there sometimes. And you can, of course, leave your comments about how much you love everyone on the show, because of course you do.
What's not to love, really?
You're a person of good taste. Of course you love it.
And if Tony was here, which he's not, he would tell you about Flipboard. And if you use Flipboard, look up What Drives Us and subscribe to that as well.
Thank you very much, Mark, for once again remembering something I forgot. Pretty soon Mark's going to be hosting the show, and I'm just going to be sitting my apologies for making that face on camera. I'm sorry. That's all I got, guys. Thank you, Paul, Mark.
Thank you.
As always, been fun.
Absolutely. And thanks to all of you so much for watching and or listening. You're the reason we do the show. So tune in next week and find out what drives us. It's the music. It's where the music comes from.
One of those iPod things.
It's my phone. It's high tech. See you next week. Thank you. Good night.